Apple CEO Tim Cook has just concluded the keynote of the Worldwide Developer Conference 2018 edition. It was a very strange keynote because for the first time I think Apple has not announced any hardware at all. The focus was completely on software, and from iOS 11 to watchOS, tvOS and macOS. The focus was also on bringing in some unified elements. There will be some iOS apps that will now be available on the iPad as well as on the macOS. The macOS, for instance, is now called macOS Mojave after the desert in California, and will integrate a lot of Mac iOS features like stocks, like Apple News and also voice notes. These features will also be opened up for third-party developers who will be able to bring their iOS apps also onto the Mac by 2019. There is a dark version of the Mac OS, which is what's exciting a lot of people because it takes the focus completely on to the content that you have on the Mac. On iOS, there are lots of new things, but the most interesting aspect for us is how Apple wants to limit the time you're spending on the phone. So with screen time, you have the option to monitor your usage of certain apps. The feature will tell you which apps you use a lot, why you are going there and when, and it will also let you monitor how kids are using these apps across devices. So parents will be able to set limits on how much a kid can use a certain app or the device itself and give permissions accordingly. This, I think, will be a unique selling point for Apple devices in the future. There is Memoji, which is very similar to what Samsung launched with the S9, which will be based on you and is an emoji that tries to be like you. Seems like Apple has done a slightly better job, and we'll have to wait to see how that pans out. Then the other interesting thing for me is how security is becoming a big thing, and at least with the Mac OS, Apple is cutting down on access that cookies get and that let you track your usage.